Held out like humans, and what does the Batchat 25T and the T30 have in common? Well, they're both classified wrongly, and that's what this video is about. Today we're going to talk about tanks that aren't what Wargaming says they are. We start off with the first one, and that is the Super Pershing. As the regular Pershing was classified as a heavy and or maybe both medium tank, the Super Pershing is not a medium tank. No matter where you put it, this is not a medium tank. It's also not very good, obviously, in World of Tanks Blitz, so it doesn't really matter what it's classified at, because it should be classified as trash. Just like this team. If we have a brief look at the minimap, what is going on here? This is really bad. I don't really know, but I played these games about 1:30 a.m., and I feel like the teams are worse than normal. However, they're so bad that you can farm anyway. You'll see that later as well. So, if you want to play well, play at obscure times, like early in the morning or late at night, because then you can just simply farm even easier than... But anyway, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is that the Super Pershing, first of all, isn't super, and second of all, calling this thing a medium tank is misleading, because it's not. Well, it doesn't have any armor, really. However, it doesn't have the mobility either. And the gun's okay, but there's that. So this thing does need a bit of luck, but basically this is a regular Pershing with a bunch of extra armor strapped to it. That doesn't really have any effect, because you can pen the lower plate anyway. And you can still pen the massive cupola on top of the turret. Well, only the right one. Left one's fake. So, you don't want to do that. Now, this game is very wonky. It's, well, 1v7 basically in this time of night. So, yeah, Yaktiga's just gonna send it. Well, this is not gonna be fun. But, basically the thing is, Blitz, first of all, only has 4 tank categories. So that makes it difficult to actually accurately put them into where they're supposed to be. Because, for example, the Panzer SFL 4C, the Toaster, or the Panzerselbstfaller 44C, is basically an artillery piece. So, it's still classified as a tank destroyer, though. Now, this tank is classified as a medium tank, but it's mid at best. Now, obviously the T-77, which is a pretty damn good tank, is going to now charge and kill me, because teams are not cool. But that is 3k damage nonetheless. Now, should this be a heavy tank? I think so, because if you classify this as a heavy, then people would understand a bit more than what it actually is. Because if it's classified as medium, you think like, oh, it has mobility if you don't look. But it doesn't. Which is the biggest problem with misclassifying tanks. Now, another interesting thing to note is the T-28 and the T-95 are the same tank, almost. Basically, what happened here is you take the T-28, you bolt an extra set of tracks to the side, and you have a T-95. Now, this thing was never really used. It is a super heavy tank, basically. It's not really a tank destroyer. It was classified as a super heavy. The M40A Patton is a first-generation main battle tank, while the M60 is a second-generation main battle tank. And even though the same tank in World of Tanks Blitz, basically by performance, the M60 would wipe the floor with the Patton if it came to reality. So, and that is even more present with the next one, the T30. This is a heavy tank. There is no doubt in anyone's mind that this vehicle is a heavy tank. It was a heavy tank in reality. It even was a heavy tank in World of Tanks PC. This vehicle started off all the way back as the Tier 10 heavy tank in World of Tanks PC. The T-34 was the Tier 9. However, then they replaced that. The T-34 became a Tier 8 premium, and this became a Tier 9 heavy tank. The T-125 and the M103 became the 2 American Tier 9 and Tier 10s. So this started off as a Tier 10 heavy. Obviously, that didn't happen in Blitz. This only happened in World of Tanks PC. In Blitz, it immediately was introduced as a T9 tank destroyer. The problem is, I see quite a few T30 players camping at the back. Because they're like, it's tank destroyer, I camp in back. So, that's not good. And that does quite hurt a bit, just like that shot. Speaking of, that vehicle, in World of Tanks PC, is a heavy tank. In Blitz, it's a medium tank. And in War Thunder, it's a medium tank. Make up your mind, Wargaming. It's 2 different classes and 2 different games of the same company. That doesn't make any sense. So, anyway. Now, 4v4. Probably not going to end well. This is Blitz after all. So, this should be a heavy tank. Like, I get it, yeah, you got, like, the E4 and whatever, but that's not really that much of a tank destroyer either. It tries to be a tank destroyer, but it's not a good one. So, T-28, well, they all do have turrets, so you could try to make a sort of pseudo-heavy tech tree out of it, but with the E4, with the T-28, it's debatable whether they're actual tank destroyers. With the T-30, it is undoubtable that this is misclassified, and this is a heavy tank. And it always should be, and it should be played as a heavy tank as well. Obviously, that goes on, and we also have that pretty much most tier 10 medium tanks are actually main battle tanks, but that doesn't really matter because there is no MBT class. So, the Batchat 25T, ignore my gameplay here for a second, it doesn't really matter. This vehicle was built as a medium tank to replace the MX-13 series of vehicles, which are light tanks, auto-loading light tanks. So, because again, the MX-1375 and the MX-1390 are the same tank with different guns. So, the Batchat is a medium tank. It is a medium tank in World of Tanks PC. In World of Tanks PC has a 5-shot autoloader. In Blitz it doesn't, which is a bit sad for this vehicle. Also, this game is very much going to show you that no matter how stupid I play, I will still come out on top anyway. Because I'm 180 HP right off the beginning. But that's not going to stop me. So, yeah. I try to play bad, but I can't. That's what I'm trying to say here. So, the Batchat is obviously a medium tank. In Blitz, it's somehow classified as a light because, you know, they wanted the first light tank in World of Tanks Blitz. The problem is, it wasn't even a real light tank. Because the difference between a light tank and a medium tank is that a light tank retains its camo rating while it's moving. The Batchat didn't do that. It does now. But when the Batchat was first introduced, it didn't retain its camo rating while moving, which means you had a light tank classified as a light tank that wasn't a light tank, which is a bit iffy at best. Now, it is still a light tank. It's not. The light tank class in Blitz is a bit dubious anyway because the scout role doesn't exist in Blitz, so most light tanks simply different from medium tanks by, okay, you have camo on the move, that's it. Because, I mean, a Vickers CR or a Vickers Light, the armor is sort of better or the same than a Leopard, which is an MBT. So, the classes don't make a lot of sense for the most part, if you look deeper. And now we get to the MX-40, which used to be classified as a light tank, but now it is classified as a medium tank. And not only that, this tank was never real, because this is the actual MX-40. Blitz doesn't really have that much to do with realism. If you look a little bit deeper, there are some tanks that are accurate, but for the most case, all of these are either not real or classified wrong, which is a bit sad.